Hello friends and welcome to the Saitama Stacker channel. My name's Dean. If you're watching my videos for the first time, please know I only make them for entertainment, education, and for community building around the Saitama token. So do your own research before investing. Though for many people, today feels probably like an odd day to invest. I have to be totally honest and just say, today has been the hardest day as a crypto investor for me in the 8 months or so that I've been paying very close attention. Just absolutely brutal on the total market, and Saitama has been even more affected to this downside today. So we have had, believe it or not, a bit of a recovery. At one point in time, we were down 30% and 33% maybe even. And so it's come back some, but I'm going to show you what's going on with fundamentals, talk a little bit about the AMA that went down this morning. I'll also be sharing a link for that if you haven't had a chance to see it, but I'm going to share my honest thoughts on it and pose a couple of questions that I think the community would like an answer to. So let's jump in, take a look at what's going on. I mean, fundamentally, we can say here, it's down. Saitama's down, and it was down hard earlier. This is still down hard. It was down harder. But I'm going to also give you some perspective of what's going on in the market right now. And I think it's really important to keep this whole thing in perspective. Now, just so you guys know, people are turning on me a little bit, and it's okay. I'm totally fine. I can take it. But people are basically telling me to stop lying and giving people false hope, that I'm the violin guys playing as the Titanic sinks. And, I always try to be objective. I definitely am pro Saitama. It's a project that I picked back in August, and I've made almost daily content on it. And I'm cheering for the team to win, in spite of the fact that they've had several blunders, you could call them, several missteps. I'm pulling for them. I'm still pulling for them. I think the vision is good. The execution has been lacking, but I think we can get the execution under control. And if we can bring the vision to life, I still think Saitama has as good a chance as any DeFi project to be at the top. So let's jump in and take a look at fundamentals. It is actually pretty fascinating today. And I don't want people to think I'm taking pleasure in that because it's having a hard down day, but we have had an increase in holders, 318,000. So we're pushing up here close to 320,000, increase of 657 holders. Our market cap is currently above $1 billion. And believe it or not, we're maintaining that market rank, okay? And what that tells us is, and I'll show it to you, but what it tells us is, it isn't just Saitama that's having this problem. Has the Saitama launch helped us? Having these missteps in the launch? No, it hasn't. I actually think it's put additional down pressure on the project, on the price of Saitama. But it isn't fair to say that the launch of Saitama and the missteps that have taken place are fully responsible, and I'm going to show you why. So just stay with me for a minute. Price currently 7023. The volume, as you see, up quite a bit as people are fighting the battle of, should I be selling this because I want to save what I have left? Or should I be buying it at these prices? At one point it touched off of 702. That was the low for the day. Pretty good price when we're talking 707 just a few weeks ago. Now, what that says is it's absolutely been a bloodbath. But again, I'm going to give you some perspective. The burn ticked up massively today. Currently at 56.186. Okay, it's rounding to 19. But the burn speedometer would suggest it would take 37 days at the current volume and price to burn 1% or 10.8% per year. Okay, this is why volume against price is such a big, big deal. And it's why every time I make a video and I'm talking about Saitama, my focus is on the volume. even if the price stays relatively unchanged, if we can push the volume, which the Saitamask app should do, as people are trading in and out of different coins using Saitama as the native token to place those trades, our volume should go up, which increases the burn and increases reflections. Okay, 10% per year, that would be a pretty awesome burn if we could maintain it. Now, I'm not making light of the fact that the price has been down. Okay, people are telling me like, I don't care about reflections when I'm down. Well, neither do I. Reflections are not my main focus. It's just a feel good. It's feel good for me. Every day there's an opportunity to increase your bag without putting more money into it. Of course, I'd rather have a 50% increase in the price than 100 million tokens in reflections. But I'm telling you from my previous experience, the more you build up those reflections when the price does return, if the price returns, I think that it will. Okay, I'm still optimistic. But when that price comes back, those reflection tokens can be worth some serious extra change. So the 10-day average is bumped up a little to 4.09, and 12 trillion tokens have burned in the last 24 hours. Okay, now when I talked about perspective, let's look at this again. Okay, I want to show you Saitama's performance first, and you can see the last 14 days have been absolutely brutal. It was down at 70% earlier in the day, but in the last 7 days, we're down 42%. So let's go look at the market and what's going on. Okay, here's that 7-day look. Okay, 7 days over here, 42%. 7 days on the market, Bitcoin's down 16, Ethereum's down 23. As we start to scan down, you see lots of stuff in the 20s, into the 30s. And as we get down deeper, 34%, 39%. It just continues all the way down the board, you guys. In the mid 20s, high 20s, 35%, for the sandbox, 31%. So it's not just Saitama that's struggling right now. Is there additional pressure on the price to the downside because of the Saitamask launch? I absolutely think that there is. I watched the AMA this morning. The AMA was kept short. Here's Russell and Max. Max is doing his best to try to talk through the problems, but I can tell you, if you watch the chat on this one, people are unhappy. And Russell and Max were doing their best to try to put on a pretty brave face, but I could see they look stressed. Okay, the tension looks thick, like you could cut it with a knife. It's so thick. But there were some questions that came up, things that I've seen multiple times now, and I don't understand why somebody doesn't address. Simple questions like, where's Steve? Steve at Rocket Crypto hasn't made any noise at all for a couple of weeks. It seems to me like this is a softball question. If Steve's still part of the team, we say Steve's still part of the team. He's just taking a break. If Steve's not part of the team, we say Steve's moved on to other projects. The community wants an answer to that. It was probably asked in the comments section probably 100 times in 30 minutes, maybe more. So, but the community is definitely upset about the rollout of Saitamask, and I think justly so. Max, as a developer, I think he's talented, but they really haven't been on top of the communication as much as I would like. I know they're working all the time, but the last time they released information to the community was several days ago. There may be something out today. They were talking about releasing additional information, and they've come and they've done AMAs the last 2 Fridays where they've talked about it. So they're not completely hiding, but I also haven't had the feeling that they've accepted the fact that, or came out and publicly said, hey, this did not go the way we wanted it to go. I mean, obviously it hasn't, but nobody's saying it. They're talking about the work that they're doing, and I'm grateful for that. I believe Saitamask is going to be amazing, and we're right there, you guys. We're right there. The poll yesterday that I did showed now that 50% of the people have access, and with the new 1.7, if people hadn't tried to download the earlier versions, the iOS version is working great for people. So we're probably up into that 80% range. It's just been tough. I would recommend watching the AMA. I don't have recommendations for the dev team. I'm not part of what they're doing. They've got this. They still have my trust, but really, this has not been, just in my personal opinion, it hasn't been managed as well as it could have been managed. So it is a live and learn process. It is a very young endeavor still. You're talking about the Saitama LLC being maybe only 7 months old. The success early on was absolutely a rocket ship. And we haven't really kept pace with how quickly the project is moving. And I don't fault them. I'm not saying I could have done it better. I don't know who would have done it better. These are kind of uncharted waters, to be honest. For small DeFi projects to take on as ambitious of a project as Saitamask was a lot. But I can guarantee you the next time they roll a project out, the lessons that they're learning from this, it will go much, much, much smoother. Okay. There's just no way, with all they've had to do, working 20 hours a day now for 2 weeks to try to get the product right for the community. Next time they're involved in a project like this, they'll have a ton of experience on how to deal with some of these difficulties. So guys, just keep up the work, stay after it, get the product out for the community. Let's see if we can be ahead of the recovery. We're ahead of the decline right now a little bit, maybe like 10% more than the market on the downside over the last 7 days. Definitely since the initial launch date for Saitamask, so 14 days, down hard, 65%. But I'm still holding my entire bag, and I want to see a strong recovery. I'll show you an interesting tweet. This went out today. A lot of people passing it around on Twitter. But JRE Entertainment says he remembers one time when he sold 2 trillion Shiba based off listening to other people's FUD. That 2 trillion Shiba would be worth $40 million today. So he says, y'all keep fudding and panicking. I know what's up. JRE knew, got yanked if you want to, or get yanked if you want to. So just, hopefully the future for all crypto is very bright. There's been a lot of uncertainty with just governments, the Russian thing yesterday, that put additional downside pressure. But as we come through this, we can have the recovery if we continue to lead. If Saitamask is the innovation that the marketplace is looking for, there's no reason we can't continue to stay in the top 100 of cryptocurrency projects and innovate the space, which it needs. The apps that are out there right now, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet, I don't find them very easy to use, honestly. And there's a ton of room for improvement in terms of fee structures, support for those apps, and really expanding beyond the platform of just being a DeFi swap spot. So just saying, I can't speak for you all, but for me, it's been a brutal day, very difficult times, but I'm still holding strong. Okay. As a matter of fact, I just quit watching at some point because I don't plan on selling as, in the position my current bag is in, right? So I'm just going to take you over and show you what reflections look like under the current market conditions. And then I'm going to sign out for tonight. All right. So in the last 24 hours, I've received 122 million free Saitama tokens at double from what yesterday was. The burn was also double what yesterday's was. So it brings my total since 11/21. So in 2 months' time, I've received 3,273,000,000 free Saitama tokens as part of the Reflections program. At today's prices, those 3 billion tokens I've received would be worth about $74. It's better than a poke in the eye with the sharp stick, but I kind of feel like that's what we've had over this last couple of weeks. This is crypto, though, guys. Russell says it in the AMA, and it's difficult, but it's true. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and it's not the place to invest for everybody. I would like to see it become the place to invest for everybody as we continue to innovate the space, make it easier, reduce some of the barriers to entry, and grow these projects to the point where the utility is such that the volatility decreases. Friends, check back with me soon. We'll watch our Saitama stacks grow together.